Welcome to the second episode of No Bullshit Podcast. Today we are going to be discussing about how to manage finances for students. Doesn't matter if you're broke. The topics we are going to cover today are tracking versus allocation and budgeting, financial mistakes students make, financial issues students face, credit card debt, and the most important of them all, investments. Keep in mind, everything we are going to be talking about now will cater to the students who understand how it feels to earn your own money and buy the things you want out of your own volition. This video does not pertain to the students or children who are mindlessly and without any remorse spending their parents' money, and if you are one of those, I suggest you move on. Alright, let's talk broadly about managing finances. The main topics are tracking, allocation, and budgeting. Tracking is making sure you are entering every single debit and credit you have made to make sure you're not going into a net negative loss of your money. Allocation, on the other hand, refers to creating a structure based on which you will carry out your financial purchases or savings. For example, I use the split called 50-30-20. The 50-30-20 split consists of 50% investments, 30% into my needs and requirements, and 20% will go into my savings account. If you look at the Excel sheet on the screen, you will be able to see that the ideal split of my money is 50% into investments, 35% into needs, wants and spends, and 15% into saving. However, if you look at the actual allocation, the investments have taken 50% of my budget. The needs and wants have skyrocketed from 35 to 47%, and I have only saved around 2% of my money. So this is how you can use allocations, and then budgeting will depend on how you're actually using the money. But make sure that you're budgeting your money according to the allocations you want to keep them in, to make sure you're not suffering through any net negative losses or a loss of money which you're not able to manage.
Okay, so importance of budgeting. So what exactly is budgeting? Tracking your expenses wherever you're using it is simply known as budgeting. And you can be using any way of budgeting. You can use pen and paper, you can use any app, or you can use Google Sheets. For me, I used to use pen and paper when I was starting, but now I'm pretty comfortable with Google Sheets, so I'm using Google Sheets because at one click it gives me each and every detail for my whole monthly expenses. It gives me how much I can invest, how much I can use, how much I can save. So as Bipin said, he used a 50-30-20 rule, but for me I use 30-30-25-15 rule. So that's a pretty complicated one, but that's something which tells me each and every penny where it's going. So coming to 30-30-25-15, now in this I split it into two parts. One is savings, the other one is expenses. So in savings part, 30 and 15. 30% of my income is going to go for my savings, and the 15% is going to go into my emergency funds. And the remaining 25 and 15 part, 25 and 30 part, 25 goes into my needs, 30 goes into my wants. So this is something where I structure it because I felt that this suits my income and my expenses in that structural way. And if you feel this is not something which you can use, or if you feel 50-30-20 is something which you can refer to, then it's up to you. You can use any split method until you are tracking it. If you're tracking your expenses, that's more than enough. You can use any split. So in the YouTube video description, we will be providing you two Google Sheets of Bipin's 50-30-20 rule and my 30-30-20-15 rule. You can just have a look and you can see which suits you more, and you can go with the other things too, the split methods too. But this is something which we follow, and we think this is the two splits which can help most of the students, as it covers all the parts.
No matter which split you're using, be it my 50-30-20 or Udesh's 30-30-25-15, the key thing here is making sure you're managing your finances, making sure you're putting a budget in place through which you will use your finances by. Accountability is the key here. You have to make sure you're not overblowing through any of your budget. And another important thing is making sure you're not suffering through a cycle of financial inflation. For example, say this month you got extra money, like say 1,000 rupees extra allowance or something. You have to make sure you are not spending this extra 1,000 rupees into your needs and requirements, which will increase your way of living. Whenever I get extra money, for example, say I got 1,000 rupees extra this month, I will make sure to split it in 80-20 rule. 80% will go into my investments and 20% will go into my savings account. I always make sure to never spend the extra money, even 1 rupee of it, into my needs or requirements, because I need to learn how to survive off on the budget I've set, or else I will suffer through financial inflation. I will make mistakes that will cost me, financial mistakes. So you can do it anyway. 80-20, 80 can be investing, 20 can be saving, 80 can be saving, 20 can be investing. It doesn't matter. However, you have to make sure you prevent yourself from financial inflation, or it will lead you to costly financial mistakes.
Okay. So coming to the next topic, financial mistakes which I made. So coming to the financial mistake I made was borrowing money from Slice. That's a thing which I think I prefer people to avoid that, because when you're doing that, that's, people won't think about the repayments part, and that affected me too. The first point which affected me was I didn't plan a proper way to repay the amount. The second thing was I actually borrowed more than I could repay. Like, even though I needed the money, I didn't think about how I'm gonna pay it. Like, is it really required? The third point is, if you don't properly plan those stuff, it's gonna affect you in the long term, and which I happen to face them too. So in the coming points, in coming topics, I'm going to help you, and I'm going to tell you guys how to properly replan your loan debts if you really have one, or else just avoid the loans. That's it.
See, there was also a very terrible financial mistake I made, and unlike Uddesh's, it is not about anything that you could not repay. It was more about me not being able to control my impulse buying. The financial mistake I made was this jacket or shirt jacket which I had bought from Marks and Spencer's. It looks nice. See, the problem is that the quality is not nice or nothing like that. The problem was me buying out of my impulse of wanting that thing and needing it. The thing is, mostly people are caught, especially students, are caught up in these trends and this hype of wanting things that they don't actually require. So to make sure I avoid falling into these traps of impulse buying, I have put in few metrics which have helped me, prevented me from ever making these kind of impulse buying mistakes ever again. The first and the most important part of the metric is CPW, which is also known as cost per wear. I have stopped looking at the price tag of the product I'm going to buy, and this is not in a flex way, because I don't consider the value of the product just based on the price tag. I make sure I calculate the cost per wear of it. For example, take this jacket, which is a financial mistake I made. It is cost me around 5 grand. However, I have worn it around 5 times, which comes to a cost per wear of 1000 rupees. So what it means is I have paid 1000 rupees to wear it every single time. Does it sound like a stupid idea or not? It obviously does. However, take on the other hand, which comes in the same price bracket, 5 grand of my shoes. However, the CPW has fallen down to around 10 rupees per wear. And this is still kicking. I can still use it for more 300 days. Which brings the CPW to a healthy range. So you have to make sure whatever product you're buying, you'll be using it. And you'll be using it for long enough, which to the point where your CPW will be justifiable. Buying this thing and wearing it 5 times and then being it like being the CPW 1000 per wear is not justifiable at all. I'm not that rich. We're students, my friend. I can't spend that kind of money. I should not have, but I did. So you have to make sure whenever you're buying something, you make sure you consider and calculate the cost per wear in your mind. The second part is BIT. The second metric is BIT. Buy it thrice is what it stands for. It might sound stupid to you. Why would you want to buy it thrice? But see, the thing is, if you can't buy it thrice, then that means if you buy it once, there might be a possible hole left by that purchase. I could not have afforded to buy it thrice, but I bought it. I was robbed of 5,000. I had 2,000 left for 2 fucking months. On the other hand, if you buy something, make sure you have the ability to buy it thrice. Just in case you regret the whole purchase, you are still not financially restricted in the long run. For example, take this watch I bought recently. I have the ability to buy it thrice again. That means I have made a conscious choice to buy this watch by considering every single metric I have listed down below. The third metric is W/N. What it justifies is wants or needs. This is just using your common sense, my friends. Think about it. Actually think about it. Do you need it or do you want it? Did I want it or did I need it? I wanted it. But did I need it? The conditions in India are not favorable for me to wear jackets outside. It's fucking winter right now and I'm sitting in a t-shirt. It's not cold enough for me to wear it enough. So use your common sense. If at any point of time while purchasing the item, if any part of your brain says, I don't really need it, don't buy the item, because most of the time it is correct what you're thinking. You don't need it, you just want it because you're caught up in the hype. So use your common sense. And the last metric is ATC, add to the cart metric. What I do nowadays is, even if I subconsciously convince myself that I need it, I add it to the cart, I leave it. I leave it for 3 days. If I at any point have automatically come back and try to check it out within the 3 days, I make sure I have enough money and all of the other metrics are satisfied for me to go ahead with the purchase. If I forget about the product I added in my cart, obviously I don't need it, so I'll just skip it. For example, there was this book I really wanted because I wanted to read it, and I subconsciously made myself think, it's a book, it's a good investment, you'll read it. But I left it in my cart. I didn't even remember about it till Alexa gave me a notification. The item in your cart, you should check out. See, the item, there's an item in your cart, blah blah blah. Okay. So even if your common sense has failed you, add the ATC metric will make sure you're not spending money on the things you don't need.
That's it. నేను మాట్లాడాలి like
I make sure whatever the product I'm searching for will satisfy every single one of my metric, or at least 3/4 of my metrics. And if it's not, I would rather suffer from the pain of not buying it, I would rather suffer from the pain of not buying it than suffer from the pain of regretting the purchase.
Elaborating what Bipin said, cost per wear. Like as he said, it's 5,000 and he literally works for 5 times. So I am a guy who's like practical thinking guy. So I wouldn't be like, I won't even think of buying a 5,000 rupee jacket because that's out of my account. So what I would do is, instead of going for a jacket it's 5,000, I'd go for a jacket it's 1,000. Like I would wear it like 10 to 20 times a day. 10, let's say 10 now. Even if you take 10, it's going to cost around 100 times per wear, 100 rupees per wear.
Yeah.
Now when it's 100, I think it's cheap. Like even instead of going to H&M and Marks and Spencer and buying a t-shirt, I'd just go to Zudio and just wear a 300 or 400 rupee t-shirt. And that I would be wearing around like 10 to 20, more than 20 times. And the cost per wear would be less than 50, I guess. If I'm not wrong, it's less than 50. And coming to that, and also if you have a urge, like if you really need something, you feel like I need to stand out with the people, I need to buy something, as Bipin said, add it to your cart. And if you are a person like that, I'm a guy, like even though I add it to the cart, I talk with people, like what's their experience with the product, how do you think, like do you really think that's going to help me out if I buy? Like I asked Bipin many things which I thought of buying, but at the end I didn't even buy half of them, because I felt investing in that and buying that thing out would not satisfy my urge for that thing, because when you need something you'll have that urge to buy it, but once you get it you wouldn't care about it.
Yeah, you might feel happy the first 2 days and then you'll be like,
so that's something. So if you really want to buy something out, wait for 3 days and then ask someone. If it's like, if it's if it's something a necessity to buy, then okay, it's fine. But if it's not, if it's a want of yours, then I would say talk with someone who already has it. Let's say you need a phone, you want to buy a phone, you can go for a phone with 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. Okay, it's fine. But you want only iPhone. Now just don't be in a state of mind that iPhone is the best phone out there. No, it's not. Trust me, it's not. Instead of that, go to a person who's using a phone. Talk with him. Don't go to a person who's rich. Okay, I'm telling you, seriously, don't go to a person who's rich, because it'll be like, he will also suggest you to buy a MacBook along with it. Okay, now when you go to that person, he should be in the same state of yours. You should understand why you want to buy it, what's your status, and can you afford it. So just go to him, talk about the situation, he will tell his point of view, then compare it with yours, and then it's up to you. If you want to buy it, then plan accordingly. Plan according to your budget. If not, then just leave it, go for the other option. That's the thing for me.
Going to a rich person might even convince you to buy the iPhone 14 Pro instead of the regular version you wanted to buy, which will end up having you to spend more than you can ever afford, which is a very dumb move. And the cost per wear does not only benefit you when you're buying like when you're buying things of a large sum. It might even help you when you're buying, say, comparatively cheaper stuff. For example, I was on this trip to Kerala. I bought this 600 rupee beach t-shirt. It cost me 600 rupees. I wore it once. After that, I don't even remember where it has gone. So despite it being 600 rupees only, the cost per wear has come to, for one wear, 600 rupees, which is almost equal to the 5,000 rupees jacket I have. That means I've wasted 600 rupees. So I could have understood that, oh, I don't need it. The cost per wear does not justify my metrics. The product does not satisfy all the needs I have. So you should ignore it. Cost per wear will help you every single wear.
So like if you have a question, probably you will have a question like buying a t-shirt or a jacket from H&M and Marks and Spencer makes me look good.
Yes,
it does, but think about it.
Okay,
you maybe like it's an investment for me to look good.
But
at what cost?
Do you
really think
you want to
wear that out and go on the roads?
You
really think? No.
Like for me,
I don't prefer wearing that jacket, go eat pani puri or hang out with friends. But I prefer simple t-shirt or simple shirt, which can be worn in multiple occasions. I can wear it to college, I can wear it to a function, I can wear it to a casual hangout, I can wear it in my house, I can wear it at someone's funeral or someone's birthday too. So think out for the multiple options, then go for it. If not, just stack it.
The reason I'm giving so much emphasis onto the common sense point is, according to my understanding, the biggest financial issues that students face is by far FOMO. FOMO stands for fear of missing out. The thing about fear of missing out is the social media sites and what your friends are doing will obviously influence you to make sure you subconsciously think, I need it, I want it, and then you will make purchases that are not in your best interest of your financial state. You might purchase products that will eventually end up putting strain on your financial status, which is not good for you in the long term.
It's basically like looking at people and making expenses like them,
Yeah.
enjoying like them.
Yeah.
You see a person going out there enjoying in a pub or something, you feel like you want to. So if not the 100% of it, you would like to do at least 50% of it, which is nothing but a hole in your pocket. So social media is one thing which is toxic in one point, but okay, it has its advantages, but this is something. If you really feel that you want to enjoy, then bro, just hang out with your top 3 friends, even in a tea shop would be a better better thing than going out in a pub and enjoying getting drunk and everything.
The most enjoyment we had is when we were on top of the hill. We didn't have shit. We were starving, we were on top of the hill, we were dancing to songs. We had 15 rupees of kulfi.
Top three people, I would say. Just go with them. Sit in your house, chat. That's the best thing you could do. So if you ever feel like missing out on anything, just don't care about it. See, everyone's life is different. You have your own life, he has his own life. Okay. So even the budget, even the money too. You're gonna suffer in your way, he's gonna suffer in his way. Just give some time, everything is gonna go out.
FOMO. FOMO is a fear of missing out, which obviously means that you don't really want the thing, but you are afraid as to what it might make you feel when you're around your friends. It is very easy to get influenced by Instagram. You might see someone wearing some fashionable pants, which are not likely your style, but you might be inclined to buy them because you've seen them online. It's hyped right now. It's trendy. You want to own things that make you feel like you belong amongst people or amongst Instagram. Or you might subconsciously think, I can upstage him. I can dress better than him using the same things he's wearing. I mean, like if you're letting an Instagram post influence your financial decisions, I think it is time you reconsider your Instagram intake. The thing is, you need to understand. Think back to the time where you made a stupid financial decision because you were influenced by Instagram, or you were influenced by the thought of upstaging someone else on Instagram, or by the time the time you were so hell-bent on making sure that you show everyone that you can enjoy life without having any repercussions to it. But guess what, my friend? There are repercussions to every single decision you take, especially when you're a student and you are on a strict budget. everything you do, every single penny you spend will come back to bite you in the ass. See, if you still are not convinced and you want to get on the hype train, be my guest. Stress yourself financially to look exactly like the 75,000 others who are influenced by the same singular post. Be average. Go ahead. Make stupid purchases. Put yourself in shitty financial situations. Go ahead. Be financially broke by your 25. What do I care? I don't. But if you are listening and you want to make a change, you want to make sure you do not put yourself to stress of having to worry not just about your studies but also about your finances, be my guest. Make sure you understand this podcast. And if you're taking anything away from this podcast, make sure it is this. Do not make financial decisions based on influences out of your own mind. If anything other than your needs and wants are influencing you to make the decision, do not make it. Think about it. Ending the point about FOMO, as Uday said before, if friends happen to be one of the financial issues you face during your student life cycle, I think it is time you reconsider your friends. Because the highest fun we ever had was not sitting in a coffee shop, was not spending money, was not spending anything.
Sitting on a hill, I could say, or it was
sitting in a railway station.
We took a 10 rupee ticket
Kulfi.
for a train, this thing, and we went and sat in a railway station eating a kulfi, and that's the best thing which we had, and those are the best memories which we shared till now. We are almost like friends for like 5 to 6 years, and that's the best memory which we spent. We didn't even spend more than like I guess more than 2,000 for hanging out when it comes to
I think if you accumulate all of it, I don't think I've spent more than 2 grand, bro. Like all through the course of 5 years, I don't think I've spent more than 2 grand combined.
We had our fun.
Yeah.
We spend more. Like, okay, yeah, we would say 2,000, is it really true? Okay, we spend more than 2,000, but when we were hanging out with other friends too, like a group of people. But when it comes to the best memory, having a dopamine effect on your head, I would say hang with your friends. This is the guy which I hang out with, and there are a few other friends. And over there, it's not even more than 2,000 individually. I'm not talking about the whole grouping money. 2,000 individually. That's more than what a person can spend on a single memory which he wants to last it forever.
And the best part about it is we understand that the money we are spending will not lead to memories. Each other's company is what we value more than the money we are spending or the place we're eating at. I mean, none of us post Instagram stories, or none of us are influenced by watching someone else's Instagram story and being like, oh my god, they're enjoying at a bar. Look at us, we're sitting in. We don't give a fuck, bruv. We do not care. Because we understand that the true enjoyment comes from being around people you love. It is not about how much money you're spending, what Instagram story you're posting. It does not matter, my friend.
Coming to the second point, I can say a problem which many of the students face and go through, which I did go through, was financial repayments of the student loans. I mean, the student money which I took from the lending apps. So the first, like as I already said, I suffered with that. What exactly happened was I took the money from a student loan lending app for a particular need, without thinking about the repayment of it, and without thinking about like, is it really worth of taking that money? I didn't think about that. So what exactly happened was, because of no proper repayment plan, I was thinking that whatever the income source I had only one income source, and thinking about that, I thought that would cover my repayment loan and everything. But to my sudden surprise, things didn't go well, and I had to quit my income source, and without the proper income, so I couldn't repay the loan. So that was a thing which affected me both mentally, physically, and also financially. Physically, what physically, bro? It takes your mental thing down, and it's going to affect your physical too. So what exactly did happen was, skipping 3 months, that helped me look at few points, consider few points, and then plan a proper budget allocation to that. And I am kinda out of the depths now because of those points. Main 3 points which you can consider if you have a student loan, which helps you to recover thing is, first thing, think about a proper repayment plan. Whatever it is, even you are taking 3,000 rupees, just think about it. How are you gonna pay it back? Okay, you'll be like, next month I'm gonna get money from this person or that person, bro. Then you're just living on debts. You're not prepaying back. The whole 3,000 which you're taking, it's not in your cash. It's just an imaginary cash which you think you're taking. Obviously, right? You don't even have that. Whatever you have, it's in your pockets. If you don't have anything in your pockets, and that's the reality. If you're taking 3,000 from the app, see that you pay it every month. Even EMI, see that you pay it back. If you don't, it's going to affect you in 3 ways. physically, financially, and also mentally. It's going to affect your civil score, I think, which is most probably needed for every student out there in the future. So if you don't, then do that. Do a proper repayment plan. You think about it. You see if you have an income source. If you have only one income source, thinking that you'll be paying back with the same income source your repayments, then I think you should reconsider your income source. Like you should expand them. You should see for the other income source which also adds on to your pocket. One income source is going to repay your debts. The other income is going to sit in your pockets. So think about it like that. And if you don't, then it's going to collapse in every single way. Third thing, budget allocation. Allocate the budgets to your expenses and then to your loans. Just don't go with your loans. Just don't repay the whole amount of the loans and sit broke again without even having a single penny to spend on your needs. If you do that the same thing, then again you will be taking the money from the same loan app again, taking the same amount and using the same way. You're going to repeat the circle. So that's not how it works. So if you want to look at things, three same things, and if you seriously think these things are not going to help me down, then no one can help you out over there. But if you seriously think debt is something which is going to stay with you for a while, then I would say three things to follow. First is DTR, that is debt to income ratio. You see that whatever the debt you have is around 40 to 50%, not more than that to your ratio. So what is debt to income ratio? Take your debt. So let's say I have a 4,000 rupee debt and my income is on 10,000. So when it comes to DTR, 4,000 by 10,000, it's almost like 40%. Now if it's better to have less than 40% cause the remaining 6,000 which you have is going to cover your savings, investments, emergency funds and also wants and needs. If it's more than 40, if I say I have a debt of 7,500 of my income is 10,000, 75% of my income, that's 75%. Now with that 75%, I will be thinking that I'll be paying the whole 7,500 to the loan app. I'm going to use 2,500 what I have. With that 2,500, I think you can't even save a proper amount. You can't even use a proper amount to your needs. So I would say reconsider that, allocate your money.
As Uday said, falling into the vicious cycle of taking money, borrowing money from student lending apps is a vicious cycle you'll get stuck in and you will suffer from it if you are not allocating your budget.
Not only a student, even if a bank credit card, the
Yeah.
debt thing, don't ever go into the trap of debt, because once you get in that, you're not going to come out.
And even if you do come out, you'll be like, I already paid it. Why not do it again? Which will hurt you so bad. You will stop thinking about money. You will become the brokey dude who always just thinks about, I can't eat outside because I have to pay the loan or something. You'll have to become stingy.
Going through all these scenarios now, I prefer staying broke is better than taking money from those credit cards, anything. Instead of staying in debts, it's better to stay broke. If you seriously need money, don't ever go to banks or these kind of apps. Just go to a friend or a family person who can lend you out money for a particular thing. Just because he's lending you out money for one time doesn't mean you can keep asking him the money. Bro, he too has his budget, he too has expenses. Once or twice it's fine. But staying in debt is not a good idea forever. So end it out.
Let me tell you something else. You are a student. You don't need no fucking credit cards, man. What do you need credit cards for? You are not supposed to even apply for one. The thing about Slice is it just makes you think you have money. You don't actually have the money, and you also don't have the ability to repay back the money, as it happened in Udesh's case. So you have to make sure to not take any credit cards until you have a stable income, which will help make sure that you are able to repay all of it. Do not take credit cards when you're a student, because you will have to pay. For example, if it's not Slice, if you are actually wanting a credit card, you won't get one from the bank. If you want a credit card from an actual bank, you will have to pay a deposit fee, which will also act as a credit limit. So what Slice is doing is it understands, or any other student money lending app understands, that there is a high chance of student defaulting the loan, which will in end benefit them and place you in a financial stress. So please do not take credit cards or money from money lending apps or anywhere. Don't buy the thing, but use your common sense. Make sure you're not putting yourself in any financial risk. Do not take credit cards or loans when you're a student, because it will not help you in the short term run or in the long term. As important as it is to make sure you avoid taking loans and putting yourself in debt, it is also important for you to plan for your future. And the best way to do that is through investments. As I have already stated in the start, we have different splits on which we allocate the budgets. The key point is, despite our splits being different, we have categorized some percent of our money into investments because we understand planning for the future is as important as living in the present. I have 50% of allocation into investments, out of which I, being a student, I can afford to take risks. I don't have immediate fees to pay, I don't have immediate EMIs to fill, I don't have money or I don't have children to take care of. So I can afford to be an aggressive investor. So what I do out of the 50% allocated towards my investments is I make sure I invest around 60 to 70% in small cap funds, which gives me around an aggregate of 18% return every single year. Then I invest 20% in mid cap funds and then the rest 20% in large cap funds, just to make sure I round out my portfolio, to make sure even if I suffer losses from the my small cap funds, it will be covered by my large cap and mid cap funds, which usually give around 13% aggregate returns. The thing, you might be thinking, I'm a student, bro, I don't get enough money, I have lots of requirements, I have lots of wants, after allocating I don't have a lot of money left for me to invest. Listen to this clearly. It does not matter even if you're investing 500 rupees, because I would rather my 500 rupees at the end of the year become 508 rupees after the returns I receive on my investments than it become 490 rupees after the inflation has eaten away the value of it. Understand that, my friend. It doesn't matter if it's 500 rupees, because the thing you have to understand is you have to get in the flow of investing. You have to understand the importance of compounding. I am a huge believer of compounding. You might invest 500 rupees this month, it will be 500 the next month, maybe you might invest 500 rupees for the whole year, but the next year things might change. You might be able to invest 700 rupees or 1000 rupees. It will be a compounding effect of over 20 years. I mean, I don't need to become an instant millionaire, right? And if I do become, what is the guarantee of me being able to sustain the millionaire status? Because I have not learned the lessons important, right? But through investing, you make sure you are consistently getting returns for 20 years. Say I started investing when I'm 20. I get consistent around 18% returns for over 20 years. That will be a huge corpus sum, my friend. You will have a lot of money. You will have reaped what you sow. And compounding will give you results you won't even expect. I have only covered investing in a brief manner in this particular session, because this is not about investing. This is more about managing finances and making sure where you have to put your money and where you should, and what places you should avoid and what traps you should avoid. So I won't be talking about every single thing I invest in. I won't be going into the detail, but if you want to begin your investing journey, be it from 500 rupees, because that is the minimum you need to invest in funds. If you want to start a journey, my referral link will be below. You can use that link. It will help you, and it will also help out your boy. But if you want to know about my splits and how I invest and where I invest, which have been giving me around 13% aggregate returns, you can just hit me up on Instagram and I'll be happy to help you. Or if you want a more in-depth video, you can just ask us to make a video, or you can just ask us in the comment for more explanation, and then we'll be happy to give you a small video which will make you understand where I invest, and if you want to emulate the same, or if you want to take pointers from it and then make sure you do something on your own, you can just do it.
Okay, that's a cool way to explain why one should invest rather than trading with money, because I feel investing is something which you are actually, it shows how focused are you about your future. If you're into trading, then bro, the next second you could be a millionaire, but then after that you could be a broken guy too.
No, wait. Make sure you zoom into me when I'm saying this. When I'm talking about investments, when we're talking about investments, we mean investments for the long term. There is no need for you to trade. Bro, karra khai ko hai tu? There is no need for you to trade or do any sort of trading business. It is unrequired. You will need to put a lot of
trading. If you're
focus
really
into
interested in trading, I would say be a professional. Try to be a professional and then go for trading. Just because someone has said that he earned this much amount of money while trading, say भाई उसको पैसे दे दे, उसको guarantee देने के लिए बोल. You
do
just
your research.
Do your research. Then do that. Just don't blindly follow one person.
Don't be like say I come to Uddesh and be like, भाई मैंने ना इसमें ना 100 रुपए लगाए थे दिन के स्टार्टिंग में, and then I got like 110 rupees, and I did that for like 10 times, and I earned like I earned 1000 rupees in profits. And Udesh will be like, तो लगा ले अपना. I would rather invest in a long term thing,
That's it.
because there are things that will affect you even if you gain money quickly. There is a short term capital gain tax and a long term capital gain tax. We can talk about all about that in later, but make sure you understand when we are saying investing, we are meaning only investing for the long term. There is no trading business going on. We both do not we both are not encouraging you to trade, and we never will, because we don't do it personally.
And coming to investments, you are having an idea. Okay, for me now, he is into the investment of funds and all, but for me, I'm not into funds or stocks and all. I'm a traditional guy, and I'm really interested in investment of gold and in silver. Now, not being a fan of Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, but bro, think about it in practical way. You want to spend your money in stocks. I won't even prefer stocks. That's because you don't even know when it's gonna crash. It's one of exact words saying from Robert Kiyosaki, but practical में यार मेरे को अब स्टॉक बेचना है. I need money on Sunday. I had emergency on Sunday. Now I want to sell that stock. Sunday तो बंद है.
बराबर.
Now it's a public holiday. That's a band. Now see, investing in gold and silver, okay, it's gonna have a long-term growth too. Because see, last year I think gold rate was around 3,500 or 4,000. Now it's 5,000 to 600. Now 6,000. Now 1 year में there is a increase of 10,000 rupees. And if you see inflation देखे तो भी, I'll be getting more profit. On 600 to 700, I'll be getting a profit. So then that's a liquid cash which you're holding, bro. Gold and silver, that's my kind of investment, because I can put that in my home, I can sell it whenever I want, I can liquidate it, I can trade it, and no one says no to it. Okay, now if you invest 5,000 rupee in a stock and you say, buy, मेरे को ये stock नहीं होने का, you pay me 5,000, I'll give you 5,000, buy this stock. Most of the people won't even believe in stocks, because after many incidents of stock crashes, no one is gonna show interest in investing in one. So I would say invest in this kind of stuff. If you really feel that, भाई मेरे को stock नहीं चलता है, funds नहीं चलते हैं, then this kind of investments are gonna help you a lot, because I prefer putting and looking at those investments each and every time. I'm not see, putting in stocks make you stressful too sometimes. If there's any incident about a company, then the stocks will come down. So instead of thinking like that, you can just be आराम से घर में बैठना, gold को देखना, enjoy करना. That's what I feel, and that's what he feels. He's going to invest in funds because he knows funds are something which going to help you in one or the other way.
I do my research.
You have to do your research. Coming to gold and silver, it's the same thing. And we feel investing is something which shows how concentrated and how you give your importance to your future, rather than just enjoying in current part and following someone blindly, saying that have a course of this much 100 rupee course, 99 rupees course, which helps you to gain money with this amount of money. Bro, he's telling you to invest your money and earn money, and he's getting the money in return. Think about that. When someone says invest in this, invest in that, invest in stocks, then ask him one question: how long did you earn money consistently without losing money, and can you guarantee it? If he says a literal answer, then I'm ready to invest how much is possible for me.
Despite our perspectives being different on investments, the key point is making sure you are categorizing money towards your future. You are future proofing yourself from any possible scenarios. You are making sure your money works to make more money.
So there's a saying, if you're not earning money while you're sleeping, then actually you're not earning.
Yep.
That may sound a little bit weird, but actually that's true. That's true. Because if you say by stock market mein wahi hota hai na, bro, if I just do something, you're going to invest in a company, okay, you're going to sleep at night, and night may I go to that company and I'll do some shit about that company, I'll talk about some shit, I'll do some shit on the company. What happens? The 1,000 rupee stock is going to come to 100. Same way with trading too. So if think about it, do your research, then go for that. Since we thought of talking about financing and budgeting, we're not going into the investing part and also tracking the investments, tracking and all. But if you seriously think you need help in those things too, then just let us know. We'll be providing all the information which we have so as to gain that.
Our perspectives are different in the way because Udesh here values the liquefiable assets more than he does in assets. I have assets, he has assets. I have assets that will take time to liquidate. He has assets that are immediately liquidatable and or they can be traded in. I can't trade my 5,000 rupees Paytm stock for something else I want, right? But he can trade his 50,000 rupees gold for something else he wants. The thing is that is what majority of people in India think. I will show you if you can look at the chart online. You can observe that there are 144 crore people in India. Out of those, you know how many people utilize the stock markets and index funds and mutual funds?
10%, I guess.
Less than 1%. I mean, around 1%. See, the population of India is 144 crores, as you can see. Out of those, the people that are actually utilizing mutual funds or investing in stock market is 13 crore people only. You want to hear something funny? You know how many people order food from Zomato and things?
It's more than probably
around 30 crores. People in India are valuing more their ease of access in the current situation to order food from outside than focusing on probably investing for the future. There is untapped potential you can gain. See, it is true.
Right now you got information about this thing. So if you want to invest in Zomato stocks.
I have Zomato stocks, my friend. I literally have Zomato stocks.
It's something which I don't want to do it, but I'm just letting you know if you guys are interested in stocks. See, more than 30 crores people are ordering on Zomato. So that's almost like, Zomato stock is going to look like this. So do your research.
I already have invested in Zomato and it is comfortably giving me 20% return from over a year. And the thing is, it is an untapped potential, my friend. A lot of people are scared or are not confident enough in their ability to do research. I mean, or they might just not want to, which is the reason people are not investing in stock market. So the reason you don't want to invest in stock market is not because you don't just want to. It's because you have not found a credible source enough which is convincing you. Yes or no?
Yeah.
See, you know what? Let's end it here. As we are talking about
investing right now,
as we are talking
we'll
about
be coming that in the next part.
Yeah.
But for now, we just want to stick with the budget and financing thing. So, if you seriously want to know about the investing part, where to invest, how to invest, what are the key points to be considered while investing in a stock or in a fund or in materialistic things, then just let us know. We'll be allowed to do that. And signing off over here, we like to end it over here. Udesh.
Bipin.